be shy. Please make sure you get yourself some food. And as folks sit down and have a seat, we're going to have Dion and Cheers come in and just give a commercial so that everybody knows about the great things happening here in Ward 8.
Thank you, Catherine. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Normally, I'm sitting on that side of the podium. I'm actually sitting with you guys because what brought me to this community doing this work is I actually work for the Far Southeast Family Strengthening Collaborative, and I'm always involved in what's going on in this community. Well, actually not quite, right, Ms. Cuthbert? Mayor Williams actually brought me to Ward 8, so it dates us some years. But we I've actually joined a couple of individuals to start a new venture here in Ward 8. I am a third-generation Washingtonian, and I'm used to being able to sit down in my community and have great food and enjoy great conversations and be among great people. So we thought that the best place to do that again would be on Martin Luther King Avenue, among the new things that's happening in this community. So my new venture is I'm one of the managing partners with Cheers at the Big Cheer, where everyone knows your name. We actually located directly across the street, diagonal honestly, from the actual Big Cheer. We are a restaurant that's open 7 days a week. Consider us a small cafe. We're open 7 days a week. We offer lunch and dinner. We have a wonderful brunch that's on Saturday. And we were fortunate enough to cater this event. So with me, I have the two ladies that make all of this happen, because I told you guys about the full-time. So I have our general manager, who's Nicole Spriggs. So she's the one who actually got this gig for us. And then we have Tiffany Taylor, who's also a native Ward 8 resident, who actually is the assistant manager. So with the help of these wonderful ladies, myself and my partner, we're able to provide this community, not like we didn't have it before, because we're right across the street from a wonderful restaurant that's been the anchor for great soul food in this community for many years. So we're proud to be among now the 4th restaurant.
Who did the crab French fries?
We're actually the home of the crab fries. You guys see that on another shirt. So if you've never had crab fries, you got to stop past. The address is 2122 MLK. We appreciate this opportunity, Catherine and Morgan. Thank you guys for selecting us. And anytime, we'll be around for a while. So if you want to reach out to us, you're more than welcome to do so. So thank you so very much.
And I also just want to acknowledge Kimon as he has a plate full of food. But We Act Radio also does AVIT support. So as much as we can use our local partners, we do, but it's also wonderful to understand what resources they bring to the table so that as St. Needs grows, they can grow with us. So with that being said, I would like to introduce our Director of Development, and it is a real treat that we have him here because he is on triple duty today. Bill Pitt is a Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. It's a very busy office, and he has been very, very busy this week. So with that, I'll introduce Coach Abwalda.
Thank you. I just wanted to introduce Catherine. I appreciate that, Catherine, but actually Catherine's done a fantastic job. We are very pleased. We just want to say thank you to the St. Elizabeth's team, Catherine Beal, as you know, James Parks, Andre Swan. I mean, these guys have, you know them, we know them. I mean, they have been, they've persevered, and now we are so excited to introduce this plan. And so I really won't take up any more of your time. I mean, it's Catherine's show, and thank you, Catherine, for all you've done.
Just figure out how to, while we get our screen back up and running. Oh. So today we're here to talk about, excuse me. All right, so today we're here to talk about St. Elizabeth's East, our Phase 1. And this is the first step of many. And we are very pleased to have so many people here. We also know that there are a number of community meetings going on today, so we appreciate everybody for coming out. We're also competing with the Ward 8 Democrats, so we are going to be mindful of our time, but we also want to hear all of the comments that we can. We are kicking off our Phase 1 redevelopment effort, and maybe we can switch over to the PowerPoint. And what we plan to do today is outline exactly what that means and what the process is. We have so much exciting news, For St. E's, for those who haven't heard, we have the Wizards practice facility and the Mystics coming to St. Elizabeth's East, which is a huge, huge win for this community and for this redevelopment effort. We also have a private development, and so if we can have the Red Brick team stand up. Red Brick Brad Cardona is our redevelopment partner, and they are working on the phase 1 development, and so we are going to talk about the 4 parcels that we are looking to develop. Today's presentation focuses on the surplus. And so this is a first step, and we will talk about all of the community meetings that we have. As we explain to all of our community partners, we don't fully bake anything without coming to the community. And so this is the first of many, many meetings. We hope and anticipate a very active discussion about what the community would like to see here on this campus. And we appreciate all the comments. So we are going to be recording your comments with the transcriber. We also are recording this session to make sure that for those who can't come, that you can see everything that goes on with St. Elizabeth's East, whether you're physically here or not. And we will also repeat this presentation and repeat the outreach time and time again as we move forward with the redevelopment effort. So to introduce the St. Elizabeth's East redevelopment, we'll move to the next slide. So as everybody knows, St. Elizabeth's East was developed in the 1850s and pioneered by a woman named Dorothea Dix, who was looking to create a campus, a peaceful and serene place for the humane treatment of individuals with mental illness. St. Elizabeth's East was designed as an innovative campus for its time, and so for those who love the historic buildings, you can see a lot of that articulated in the architecture through screened-in porches that allow individuals who are being treated here to go outside without necessarily having to go outside. All of the green space and the design of the campus, the fact that we have a farm, the fact that we have a coal plant here on the West Campus, and the number of cemeteries. This really was intended to be a self-sustaining community. In 1979, we can go to the previous slide. 1979, this campus was added to the National Register of Historic Places. And in 1987, the district also acquired the East Campus from the federal government. In 2005, this was declared a local historic district, so St. Elizabeth is actually a National Historic Landmark District, which means that there are a number of preservation bodies who have oversight over the redevelopment here. In 2004, GSA assumed control of the West Campus, and in 2007, DHS announced that it was going to consolidate its headquarters on the West Campus. That triggered the District of Columbia to move forward with its redevelopment effort, and as many community members, including myself before I took this role, we participated in a number of outreach meetings focused on our master plan. And that master plan thoughtfully outlined what the district wants to see, what the residents want to see, what a number of stakeholders want to see here in this campus. That master plan was released in 2012, and then the master plan goals are reflected in our zoning code, which was approved by the Zoning Commission in 2013. And then we opened Gateway and the R.I.S.E Demonstration Center, and that really, these two buildings really do reflect a lot of the comments and the input made as part of that master planning process. So the master plan anticipates that for the entire campus, which is 183 acres, we will have 5 million square feet of mixed-use development. The master plan does not ask that we be prescriptive in what we are requiring in terms of redevelopment, but it asks that we be as flexible as possible so that this campus can be creatively reused. And it also identifies the idea that in addition to the office space, in addition to a number of residential units, retail and hospitality, civic and educational uses, that the campus, 10% of the footprint will be reused for an innovation hub. And it is a small fraction of the overall footprint, but it is intended to be very significant and very impactful. And that innovation hub and that commercial center is really what's going to make this campus a dynamic place to live, but also set it apart from a number of the redevelopment efforts around the city. We really want St. Elizabeth, Congress Heights, Ward 8 to be a unique place. We don't want to duplicate what has already been done in the city, but we also want to bring back the commercial center and bring that back to life. So the master plan outlines a number of different goals, first of which is the innovation hub in the mixed-use redevelopment. Second, of course, is the mixed-use redevelopment and clustering those uses throughout the campus, not necessarily saying this is the residential section of the campus, this is the office section of the campus, but really integrating those uses throughout the campus. Third is creating a unique place in sustainable development. Fourth, of course, is creating opportunities for DC-based CBEs and Ward A partners. And we do look for all of our projects to make sure that Ward A partners and DC-based CBEs are involved and have opportunities to participate. Fifth is creating educational employment opportunities. That is part of the thinking behind even creating R.I.S.E, is creating an educational center. For those who have been to R.I.S E, you understand that we have training classes here. The University of the District of Columbia is our educational partner, and they teach a number of courses, Network Plus, Security Plus, Microsoft Word and Excel classes. And so we have started to implement a number of these goals in the classes even that we hold here at R.I.S E. Six, which is what Sarosh is focused on, is maximizing the value for the district, because we do have to be mindful of the taxpayers' investment in this beautiful, wonderful, historic campus. And then seventh is create a unique and interesting and dynamic place. And so you will hear us talk a lot about a sense of place and making sure that when folks come to St. Elizabeth's 5 years from now, that it is really a unique place, and they're telling their friends and their family members, hey, you should really check out what's going on at St. Elizabeth's. So to date, our completed project milestones are the master plan. We also have capital infrastructure improvement dollars. Those infrastructure capital dollars have been used to create, for example, our pathway, the R.I.S.E Demonstration Center, Gateway, and will importantly be used to create our Stage 1 infrastructure improvements, which will allow us to reuse the historic buildings. We've also stabilized our 1902 buildings, opened Gateway and R.I.S E, completed public art projects, selected Redbrick L&D, and then announced this week that we have secured a commitment for Event CC's Entertainment and Sports Complex. So just to talk a little bit about our process, because so many people were involved and so many people I'm sure remember our meetings, including our 4-hour meetings that we had with the public to get all of the questions and answers out about who we were going to select as our development partner. We issued a solicitation looking for a development partner in March of 2014. We held a pre-response conference, and we took a lot of effort to reach out to everybody and anybody that was interested in St. Elizabeth's, because we really wanted dynamic partners. We wanted partners who were qualified, partners who have the capacity, but also partners who are willing to work with the Ward A community. The deadline for responses, for a notice of intent to respond, was May 30th. This was somewhat unusual for our office to ask for an intent for a notice to respond. This was mainly to ensure that we actually got responses, because as many folks know in Southeast, many times we have one response, and that really limits our options and really limits our opportunity to review what's best for the redevelopment effort. And we received 5 notices, so we felt comfortable moving forward with the solicitation process. On June 27th, the proposals were due, and we received 5 proposals from different teams, all interested in St. E's in the redevelopment effort. We promptly proceeded with reviewing those proposals, interviewing all of the teams, and then we had all of the offerers come out and present to the community. And so what we did is we did a short list. We had all 5 teams come out, present to the community, and just as we did today, we recorded those presentations to make sure that folks could see them, ask questions, go back, look at those presentations again, ask questions of BIMPED, and really provide thoughtful input into what they wanted to see here at St. E's. And then on October 31st, our public comment period closed, and in December, we selected Redbrick L&D as our development partner. So as part of the phase 1 development, we have been negotiating with Redbrick about exactly what the first phase of development is going to look like. And so this is the first step. There will be a disposition process, and we will go into the redevelopment plans. But before we go into those redevelopment plans, we are asking the public to allow DMPED to surplus the property. And what that means is that we are no longer reserving this property for public use. We are looking to redevelop the 4 parcels that we have negotiated with Redbrick L&D. It does allow us, and you will see later, to use a number of the other parcels for public use, including for our entertainment and sports complex. We were very thoughtful, we were very conservative about which parcels we would release for private development first. The goal was to make sure that we release parcels that we in fact felt could be redeveloped, that would have a significant impact on this campus, that included the historic parcels as well as a number of other parcels and opportunities to really create a sense of place. But also parcels and opportunities that would integrate things like affordable housing, for sale opportunities, retail, innovation uses mixed within the redevelopment effort. And so after going back and forth with Red Brick for some time, we identified these 4 parcels as our first phase of development, and we are very proud to present them. So the first one is, and I will just go down the list, is parcel 10. This parcel is adjacent to the Congress Heights residential neighborhood. It is currently a vacant parcel. There is no development on the parcel. Our master plan does require that that parcel be redeveloped as residential use, mainly because of its proximity to a number of other homes. And so we are looking to reuse that for residential purposes. Parcel 11, which is our CT campus. And the CT campus is actually part of the last section of buildings used by the hospital, so they are generally in good condition. They are a cluster of 7 historic buildings that if you go inside of the CT campus, you'll notice that there isn't a lot of historic fabric. There are some contributing features, but it's a great cluster of buildings that will immediately add a sense of place and really define St. Elizabeth's East. And so we're excited that the CT campus is part of this first phase. And then we have parcel 14, which is located along Alabama Avenue. And so what you'll see is that we're starting to create a sense of place along Alabama Avenue. That is intended both to leverage other redevelopment efforts going on in the campus, to make sure that we are being thoughtful about how we are starting out the redevelopment. As you can see, even just creating R.I.S.E and Gateway DC, you can come here and the campus is still huge. So we wanted to make sure that as we took the first steps, people really felt like as if they were somewhere, that it was a large enough chunk and a dynamic enough chunk that St. Elizabeth really was a unique place, but also a redevelopment effort that we could see getting off the ground in the very near future. So that's parcel 14. Parcel 14 is able to be used both for residential uses, multifamily uses, and also mixed-use development. And then parcel 17, which is adjacent to the Congress Heights Metro Station. Our goal with parcel 17 is really to see retail. And we've heard loud and clear at a number of the meetings that the public wants additional retail options. They want high quality retail options. We have lucked out with having folks like Whole Foods come out to the campus. We hope to continue to have great retailers. And then also figure out how we integrate small businesses. And so parcel 17 will allow us to do just that. So today, what we are hoping to get, and we have a transcriber here dutifully taking notes for folks' questions and comments, is to get comments on the map that I just showed you, which is the question of whether or not the district can move forward with surplusing those 4 parcels that we just defined for our first phase of development. In order to ensure that we receive everybody's comments, we have done a number of different approaches because not everybody feels comfortable getting up with a microphone and asking their questions. And making their comments, which we will record in our record. But we have also created an agenda, and we are asking if you don't feel comfortable saying your question out loud, that you write your question down, and you either hand your question to myself, James Parks, or Andre Swan. And we will take that, and we will also put your question on the record. And lastly, we also have created an online survey. So for folks who have comments specifically on the surplus process, and the question as to whether or not we can surplus those 4 parcels, we are asking members of the public to leave those comments on our public survey. We will leave that survey up and the record will remain open specifically for the surplus question until October 19th. That is when we will collect all of the comments and we will do our analysis and we will create a report and include those comments and send it to the council in our surplus and disposition package. So what we're going to do is we're going to have folks who are here to provide comments and ask questions. And then after we go over the initial questions and comments, we will go through the disposition overview just for our own technical process reasons, we are starting with the surplus and then we will move into the overview of the disposition. But we want to get the initial questions and comments out first. So if you have a question or comment specifically on the surplus process, I ask that you come, introduce yourself, say your name, say your ward, so that our transcriber can make sure we identify you properly, and then start to ask your questions. So with that being said, I would like to open it up for questions on the surplus process.
Larry Greenhill, District of Columbia Electrical Association. My question is, how are we going to link, it's 14.1% unemployment Ward 8. So how are we going to link our residents, the Ward 8 residents, to these jobs? Is it going to be like a job hiring place on the campus? I mean, how are we going to do that? What's the process going to be with that?
That's great. And for some of the questions, we are going to note your questions because we are not necessarily going to have the answers. To answer the question directly, we have not made a determination of how we're going to have a job center, if you will, here on the campus. For example, the West Campus, they actually had a trail in that they set up. Part of the challenge is that they had thousands of people show up for 200 jobs. We hope to be more thoughtful about how we do that for both Gateway and for R.I.S.E. We referred job seekers to the Department of Employment Services and filter those applications through Department of Employment Services. We also work with the Office of Returning Citizens to identify applicants who could come here and work on the campus, and we had a number of very successful hires through both of those routes. We will be working with Red Brick to figure out how exactly we identify employment opportunities, market those employment opportunities without essentially overpromising, but also making sure that we're thoughtful about making sure that those employment opportunities reach Ward 8 residents.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tadani Pulabusiel, founder and president of the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council. Raise your hand if you work with the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council. I'd like to definitely acknowledge the fact that we are finally at the point where we are going to actually build something that's going to help build up the community. Now, in terms of how it builds the community, that's up to us. And that's why I'm right here, right now. That's why I'm at the table. I've been a part of this process the whole time. It's definitely a neat surprise that the Mystics and the Wizards will become an anchored institution that will help activate the rest of this development. But for the record, because today is a public hearing for the community going on record about its support or lack of support or whatever you want to say about this project, on the record, definitely would like to say that, first of all, in order to build economic opportunity, you got to build infrastructure so that that opportunity can exist. And I do believe that this process has been one that's been fairly informative and given enough people enough opportunity to have their voice be heard and come to the table if they choose. And I say that the infrastructure that's going to be built here is going to be one that can create a viable socio-economic opportunity for people who live in Ward 8. They choose to be a part of it, like I do. Some interesting things that can happen at this place, particularly our mission is to facilitate socio-economic development via arts, culture, and technology. So these are the kind of uses we definitely want to bring to the table in terms of activating some of this space. But we need space, and this provides space and housing and retail. And this project can help stimulate some economic development, some creative economy over here east of the river. So any members of the community that has a comment, please put it on the record today, because that's what this is for. This is being recorded, submitted to the district government in order to help move this process forward or bring attention to any red flags that may come up. So today's a very important day. That's why I'd like to ask all of our members of the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council at least give a comment how you feel this project can help activate the community. Peace.
Good morning, my name is Megan Taylor. I am a Ward 8 resident. Excuse me, Harrison. So when I saw the Wizards, I work to be positive, first of all, but when we look at statistics in Ward 8 and we understand gentrification as it happens, it can be a very scary thing to look at. So I worked to stay in the know, and I knew nothing about the Wizards coming to this area. That was a red flag for me because I work to like stay in the DC information. And I'm saying that to say that I kind of emoted when I first saw it online because it did not look like that was building forward for us or those that this community currently serves. It almost looks as if there will be a pushing out. But I'm not sure. I'm saying that to say that that was my thought. And I just want to say that whatever happens within the development, I would like to, or for the government to make sure that the current community is not blatantly affected in negative manners. That's all I'm looking for. That there are a lot of people in this community who may not necessarily involve themselves in these processes. There are people who may not understand for whatever reason. And those are the people that I do work to speak for. And I just would like to make sure that they are not blatantly disadvantaged as a result of this project. That's my only concern. This is a major development, with this being the practice grounds for this NBA team. And NBA and Ward 8 are not currently consistent, if that makes sense. So thank you for allowing me my comments. Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council is definitely an activator of creative economies, amongst other things, in stimulating personal wealth and health. And so, yeah, I just want to make sure this community is not any more affected by this great thing, so that they can also be great. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mary Cuthbert. I'm the chair for Advisory Neighborhood Commission 8C, in which St. Elizabeth is located. I was just talking with one of the commissioners, and we came up with, we're concerned about how we're going to maintain the residents who live here when all this development began to take place. My biggest concern is just the Wizards are coming, and many people address the issue is what's going to happen to the residents who have been here through all the changes that took place in this ward. That's the biggest concern. The second concern is with the developer who's developing the townhouses and everything. Are they going to be, are they market rate affordable, or are they affordable for the people who live here who can purchase them? That's a concern. I want that on the record from ANC 8C, not Mary Cuthbert. It's from the commissioners. And that's important because we are concerned about the residents who live here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Harold Thomas. I'm a community advocate and I'm a youth advocate. And on behalf of my youth advocacy, I would like to go on record is requesting that there be equity in this development process for our youth. And in that light, I would like to see a clothing, retail, and accessory outlet inclusive in the Phase 1 development plan at St. E, operated by high school and college students. In this respect, it would be a win-win situation for all, because when students work, they pay taxes. And when they pay taxes, the city benefits. So I would like to go on record as saying that I would like to see inclusive red brick, AEDC, a clothing retail and outlet business on this campus operated by high school and college students and under the supervision of adult professional guidance. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Adriana Mendoza, and I'm with the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council. During the day, I'm a landscape architect. And so I actually travel back and forth from Bethesda to Ward 8 probably 3 times a week. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C., so I've seen all the changes, H Street, Fourth Street, U Street, and all these developments have created a lack of sense of place. I don't get a sense of community there, of what I used to see. And so I keep on hearing this word sense of place, and as a landscape architect, that's what we do, is create sense of place. And I know as a firm, that's part of my firm, our first approach to design is really understand what that process is to create a sense of place. And so I'm wondering what you define as a sense of place, if you've defined it yet, if not, when in the design process do you figure that out? Because that has to be the first step in order to make something that's really an anchor to the community.
Good morning. My name is Alicia Jefferson, and I am a Ward 4 resident, but I'm also the Director of Technology for the Ward 8 Art and Culture Council. So I wanted to take this opportunity to say that I support this program, and that it's true. We need a lot of space and resources to help our children here and the young youth. We have a lot of innovative programs that we're trying to work. I'm also a member of President Obama's America Makes, and we discussed part of this education and technology to help improve manufacturing and jobs and opportunities for our kids.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Muhammad. I'm the chair of ANC 8E that borders this St. Elizabeth project. A lot of development is coming, and I would like to see a black law firm, a black architecture firm. I would like to see those soft money businesses come in. I would like to see entrepreneurs become millionaires from this project. Don't care how much the wizards or the mystics going to only have 500 or 5,000 people in this project. A lot of millionaires was made when Marion was the mayor, that council. Black millionaires that ended up moving out. We would like to see that take place as the poor gets pushed out. They have the highest amount, we have the highest amount of disparities in Ward 8. The illiteracy rate is the highest anywhere in the country, not just in Ward 8. They can't read, they graduate, they social promote from high schools. Children out of school and cannot read, can't fill out a job application. I would like to see a general contractor that's black in and on this project. In 801, the homeless shelter, I would like to see you go down there and pre-certify so-called workers that can work and hold the flag. If they can't read, they can hold the flag. They can direct traffic. They can sweep and clean up. I would like to see that take place from the 801 and go to all of the section or housing choice voucher people that live here that's hanging on the corner and collect names and hire those that's hanging on the corner and then document those who said, I'm not going to work. Help those who don't have a license, a driver's license, because you can't get a job without it. Some don't even have a birth certificate because it costs $23. Some don't have a social security card because they don't know that they can go down the street to get a social security card. These are some social things that have to take place before you even get started with some of the people that they say they want you to hire that live in Ward 8. And it's hard to hire if you can't read, if you can't write, if you don't have a driver's license. I would like to see you go to C. Sosa with the pre-release program and hire some of them. Go to Hope Village to help some of them get out of Hope Village because they can't get out unless they have a job and somewhere to live. Those are just some of the small things that need to be done to help Marion
Mario Bowser moved them to the next level of middle class. Just having a job and a driver's license and a birth certificate and a social security card, which costs money, and some do not have these small things that you don't even think about any longer because you have them. Ward 8, the disparities are high, and we want some of you millionaires that's in this room to help. You have an obligation. To whom much is given, much is required. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Tom Brown. I've done a tremendous amount of work here in Ward 8, lived back and forth between Ward 8 and Ward 7, and I just call it Ward 15, for the record. Exactly everything that I heard the two ANC commissioners come up and say exactly why I'm proud to be in conversation and working very closely with the Red Brick team. If you all know anything about my work with training grounds and being the co-chair with Manbury of the Ward 8 Workforce Council over the past 7 years, this is our issue. Everything that Commissioner Muhammad laid out is what it is that we're most concerned about, what we're entrenched in. And we actually have designs and proof to show you the effectiveness of not just the economy, but how it also affects the public safety and the crime. I can show you official documentation given to me in the last 7 days of a specific area in Ward 8 that we've been doing this same model that we're going to introduce to this project. I just learned a few days ago that we saw a over 25% violent crime reduction in Ward 8, specifically in the area where the model I've been working for the past 12 months has been in effect. And it's economically tied. Chris Smith of William C. Smith and I got together and we're running this and it worked, and he's elated. But I'm saying it's in Ward 8 where we see all this negative news. I can show you on the Metropolitan Police report I was just handed that in that area, in villages of Parkland, violent crime is down over 25% because we tie economics to everything that the commissioners just stood up there and said. It's about a plan, and if you don't have a plan, what we know is you'll be planned upon. I'm at the table, and I can tell you with Red Brick, I was been with them since day one. They're not going to allow, and I'm not going to allow us to be planned upon. That's for the record.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rosalind Wheeler Stiles. The Wheelers were born and raised here in Ward 8. And for the past 15 years, my company has done compliance. Oh, she's gone? Mary Cuthbert is left? Oh, okay. The reason I wanted to talk to her is that, yes, we can have all the best dreams in the world, but I had the opportunity to travel around the country with the Peace Corps, and I came back and said, I'm going to help my neighborhood. But there's one thing missing out of good intentions, and that is a deliverable, a piece of paper that has a signed contract. When St. Elizabeth was first redeveloped, the Unified Communications Center, we struck agreement with the ANC commissioner and the government to have a written document, a memorandum of understanding between the neighborhood and the government to ensure the things that everybody has stood here and asked for. When St. Elizabeth Hospital was built, Mary Cuthbert sat down at the table with the Office of the Chief Technology and signed a memorandum of understanding between the developer and the ANC representing the community. That's what you need to have. Everybody can have a dream, everybody can have good intentions, but if you have a piece of paper that has your signature on it, then you have a living document to ensure that your needs are met. And so what I'm interested in doing with Red Brick and the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development is to help to draw up that document that talks about training, that talks about the development, that talks about entry-level positions, mid-level positions, that talks about how do you ensure that the people who live here, who were born and raised here, who have suffered here, who have stayed the course, can be at the front line in terms of getting their economic due. Have it in writing, and if they don't stand up to what they have professed, then you have something to take them to court and shut them down. Because we've done this before, and these are the kinds of opportunities that only come by every once in a while. You cannot afford to say, oops, we didn't make it. And the last note I'm going to leave you with is that the UCC project was the first government agreement that took the goal out of participation and put the requirement in participation. It is not a goal, it's a requirement. And so if you are required to do something, then you must do it. And all the good faith and good intentions and honorable mentions does not count. The deliverables is really what counts. And so I want to go on record saying that we are hoping that the Deputy Mayor's Office and Red Brick are willing to sit down and negotiate an agreement with the community, and you outline all of your deliverables, and then we stand and hold them accountable.
Greetings, greetings. I'm Latasha Jones. I'm a Ward 8 mother, a Ward 8 community activist, a children activist of Ward 8. I am also a Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council member. Did I say I'm a Ward 8 educator? I do a lot of things in Ward 8. I am a corner talker to all the young men on the corner. I do all those wonderful things. And for me, I demand that I have one of those 60 houses that are there. I'm an educator. I do plenty of work in the community. It's mine. It's mine. It's not a question. This is not a comment. It's a demand. And I do plan to be at all the tables and Red Brick. You will be hearing from me. Again, my name is Latasha Jones. My son is a student at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. He is studying technical production and design. He has done plenty of work with lighting and events that are held here, and I do expect him as well to be employed, if not have his own business in Ward 8 that he is starting now at the age of 16. So I have requirements, and I do plan to have a contract, something in writing. So you guys will hear from me. You will see my face a lot if you haven't already. And I'm just grateful, A, for the opportunities that are being presented for the people in my community, those who choose to take part in it, because I'm not going to be ignorant, because I try to get people to get their resumes and help them get back in school. Some people show up, some people never show up. So for those that do want those things, I do expect for those things to be provided for the people in this community. And I'm definitely a voice for those who maybe don't have a voice or maybe don't want to get up and talk. But I have a requirement for you guys, and you will hear a lot from me, and I can be such a thorn in your side. So get to know me, and it's a pleasure. Bless.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Rodney. I'm the chairman of Commerce Heights Main Streets. We're located right here in Commerce Heights. I think my concern is more for DemPed than it is for Red Brick. I'm part of the Red Brick team. We've been working together. So got a great group of developers here who really realize the need to activate the community and use community-based resources to make this project work. But I did see the director of development. I think he left out with DemPed. He gone? Okay. Well, just make sure we put this on the record, because I want to make sure that he gets a heads up on this. My concern is with the property taxes. And the reason I say that is because you have areas like Shaw or Georgetown that they'll have a big government investment. Government will come invest $100 million or so. And the area that they invest in 5 years, property taxes are double what they were before the investment got there. So you're taking businesses that have been there 10 or 20 years, you're taking homeowners who've been there 10, 20, 30 years, and you're gentrifying. You're basically kicking them out, because now you got a Wizard Stadium that's 2 blocks from my house, and 2 years ago my property taxes were $6,000 and now they're $18,000. That's a real reality, and that's something that you may not be seeing, but as a property owner in Converse Heights, who's been in Converse Heights for 30 years, I don't think that's going to be acceptable for DemPed to come and say, well, we want to give you guys this new stadium, but we're not going to give you any property tax abatements. I mean, if you look at deals all around this country, even in Washington, D.C., they give companies millions of dollars in tax abatements for 20 years to come and bring something or bring a project to a certain part of town. But what are they doing for the community? What are they doing for the businesses who stuck it out when there was no public investment? Where there wasn't anyone saying, hey, we want to bring something to your community to enhance your business or enhance your property value. So, you know, just for the record, I just want to put that on, that can we have a real conversation about doing something for the residents and the business owners and the property owners that's located in this area whose property taxes are going to triple in the next 10 years? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kimmy Morton. I'm an attorney. I've been in the area for, I guess 30 years. I've lived in Ward 8. I know many of you in the audience. I'm a lawyer. Used to be chair of the police review board here. I was kicked out because I was too strong in favor of the community, so the FOP really pushed me out, and I kept working in the community. I've been in Africa for the last 4 years. I've been living there, and it's been wonderful. I've been in Zimbabwe, and I've been in Zanzibar. Been relaxing. I came back here and I found out about this project. I used to work for one of the giants in this community, Wilhelmina Rolark. I don't know, how many of you know Wilhelmina Rolark? You know she was a giant for this community, and her husband, Calvin Rolark, and Marion Barry. And I remember when Marion got the federal government to give us this land. I was there when he made the announcement. He got up and he said, "Good morning." And you're supposed to say good morning. Good morning. And he said, "We is here." And we were really here. It was a great moment. And that was 1979, right? And here we are in 2015. So I associate myself with all of the remarks of all of the previous speakers. And I commend Red Brick. I've looked at your plan. I think it's a good plan. I think you've got good people on your team. But please take into consideration the comments that have been made here today. Please do that, because that's very important to this community. We don't want a project that's going to displace our community. We want a project that's going to enhance our community. We want the dreams of Marion Barry and Wilhelmina Rolark and Calvin Rolark. We want that to be reflected in this community, because this is our community. And having said that, we need to negotiate deals with the government. As the prior speaker said on the tax issue, that's a very, very important issue. And that's something we, the people, need to negotiate with our government and our mayor. So having said that, let's move. Let's get this thing going. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Beverly Smith Brown. I am a 3-generation Ward 8 resident. I'm a mom. I'm also a business owner here in Ward 8. And I just really want to piggyback off of what Ms. Latasha Jones said. She really took the words right out of my mouth. We have been working in this community and living in this community, raising our children. And I'm really here today just to ensure that our culture will be preserved here. To make sure, I really believe in, bettering our community. But we have some really great people right here in our community that have been here, just putting, just working hard, grinding hard, without any funding, without any housing, doing things that we have to do. And we know the community. We have a heart for the community. So I really encourage you all to reach out to the community leaders here that are doing the groundwork, that's on the front line doing things and giving us a position right here in Ward 8. I thank everyone for coming out and just really representing Ward 8, everyone that came up and spoke, because we really need to have our voice heard. I thank you all for this opportunity. My name is Beverly Smith Brown. I am here representing Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council, and we will contact you. We will be in, like she said, we'll be a thorn in your side. We have something to say. We have a culture here that really needs to be preserved, and we're going to make sure that that happens. So I thank you all again.
Hi, good morning. I'm Damon Strawn. I'm a CDE general contractor, and I live in the district, live in Ward 7. I've been a resident in Ward 7 and 8 for 35 years, and I hire DC residents on all of our DC government projects. How many of y'all play bingo? All right, I want you to look at the back of this sheet of paper right here. And on the back, you see these blocks here. And on the blocks, you will see 75 affordable housing. AMI, 0 to 50% affordable housing out of the 250 apartments, 60 new homes, 35% CBE business opportunities, 1,500 jobs. To hold the team accountable, I want you to play bingo on this sheet. Because I've been with multiple contractors across the city that talk the game of hiring, that say that they plan to hire, they say that they can't find someone to hire. But you hold us accountable by playing bingo. So as jobs come across, I want you to check it off or put a Ward 8 sticker on each one of these blocks. So when we come back with a community that is satisfied, happy, invigorated, and then made those changes and taking care of your needs, taking care of the young lady that was a teacher, getting her son working on opportunities. I wouldn't join the team unless I knew that the Red Brick team was committed to doing this. So I'm telling you here today, and many of you know me, I'm a former ANC commissioner, and this is what you hold us accountable for. It's in writing. So please do that. And thank you.
Thank you.
Peace and blessings. My name is Kimon Freeman, representing We Act Radio, which is located at 1918 Martin Luther King Avenue. I'm at the top of Martin Luther King Avenue on the radical side of Martin Luther King Avenue. I just want to reiterate things I agree with. I want to thank the sister that spoke about MOU, and I want to thank the brother that spoke about the tax abatement for property tax. Because it's not just property owners, because most of you, if you don't know, a lot of businesses have, they call a 360 lease deal, where the tenant is actually paying the property tax for that building. It used to be unheard of, but now that's not the case anymore. For those who do not know, and for those who do know, correct me if I am wrong, but as I am, my understanding is that this St. Elizabeth project is about a $10 billion value project. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. And if that is the case, it is the largest land acquisition in the history of the United States of America since the Louisiana Purchase. I want you to understand, to put things in perspective here, okay? That's how serious this is. And we all know that Ward 7, Ward 8 is the last frontier. After this, you were in Maryland or the river, okay? So I just want to put things in perspective. So if it don't make the cut now, you know what that is. Okay, now having said that, we know that businesses come into this city, as it was mentioned earlier, with tax incentives. Many of them are offered 10 years of tax exemption to come in and bring all that comes with them. 10 years. But existing businesses don't get that type of consideration. And we also know the inequitable relationship of the city with east of the river. All right, having said that, then that means that the rules must change for this deal. New set of rules. How many of y'all watch Bill Maher? New rules, okay? New rules, there's my suggestions. One, we have to have an MOU that outlines these new rules. One, we also, not just a tax abatement, I want to see a property tax cap. I want to see a property tax cap for all existing property owners and residents. Cap it. For the new ones, you're on your own, but for those who existed, cap it. I want to see that in there. I also want to see a different AMI, the area of median income, that is supposedly where we take the highest and the lowest of some of the richest areas in the country, and we pull a number out in the middle, and somehow that's fair. As fair to the top 50%, unfair to the bottom 50%. So we need a different AMI, all right? We want something more like 30% of your income determines your housing. or terms when we say affordable. We need to change that language because affordable housing is too ambiguous. It's a code word for affordable housing. $1 million house is affordable to somebody. This ain't affordable to you. They ain't talking to you. All right? So what we want to hear, and the federal guideline, I wish it was a mandate, but the federal guideline, just so you know I'm not pulling numbers out of the air, is that you should be paying 30% of your income in housing. How many of y'all paying more than 30% of your income in housing right now? Seriously, put your hand. If you're paying more than 30% of your income right now, ooh, y'all are doing good. Y'all are doing good. Because usually it's half the room. 30% of your income in housing should be what you're paying. Most of us, a lot of us outside this room are paying a lot more than that. That should be in that new rules when we talk in terms of determining what is affordable for this area. So I just want to say that, and I hope this question does get answered, because we do need to figure out how do we draw up an MOU? Who's going to be involved in that process? What's going to be in those new rules? And my strong suggestion is a property tax cap on existing businesses and residents. Also, a redefining AMI for 30% of your income for determining what is actually affordable. Because we know that we've seen what's happened all over this city. So we can learn from what worked and we can learn from what hasn't worked. So you can't really sell us something different because that's the model you're going by. So we all know what that is. So we need a new set of rules in terms of dealing with the last great frontier. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lynette Voss, and I'm a product of Ward 8. I'm also a part of the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council. I was born and raised in D.C., grew up right up the street from the Big K liquor store. I'm sure all you guys know the Big K liquor store. Ward 8 has always been a part of my family and a part of my heart. Got married, divorced now. He moved me, I was married to a doctor who moved me out of Ward 8, and I couldn't be away from it, so I came back. I'm a business owner on Good Hope Road. My business is Vintage and Charm Classic Clothing, and we're inside of the Anacostia Art Center. Now, I'm going to piggyback on a lot of things that, I'm going to be brief, but I am going to piggyback on Latasha Jones. Latasha Jones. And she said she was going to be a thorn in your side, so I just had to repeat her name 3 times. And also Rodney Bunn. Being in retail, I came back to Ward 8 specifically to open my store. It was in Maryland at one point, and they just weren't very friendly in Maryland. When I came back to Ward 8, it was like family. It was like coming back home. So this is where I want to be. This is where I want my store to be. I'm on the DC line as far as where I live in Oxon Hill. I would like to move back to DC. It would be nice to move in one of these facilities here. But one of my major concerns being a part of the Anacostia Art Center, I've been there for 2 years already, and I keep hearing from the Ward 8 community that I didn't know you were here. And I think they didn't know that I was inside the Anacostia Art Center because it's just not very welcoming to the community. I hope I don't get in trouble for this comment, but it's just not very welcoming to the community. They came in, they built this beautiful art center, but it's just not very welcoming to the community. I advocate for community, outreach and bringing the community in, letting the kids come in after school, learn about art, a beautiful lobby with Wi-Fi that they can come in and do their homework, and it's just not very welcoming. So I stand to say that I hope this beautiful facility, all the Ward 8 residents around it, are not afraid to walk in those gates, are not afraid to come in. Hopefully it can be welcoming to them, inviting to them that you can own one of these stores. You can own one of these houses. I expect to own one of the stores. We have a lot of store owners here in Ward 8. We do. Some are residents of Ward 8, most are not. They get in their cars with their Virginia tags and they go back to Virginia. And hopefully this facility, at least 80% of those business owners will get in their cars with DC tags and go right across the street to their homes. That's my comment. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne and I'm with the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council. And I am here today to put my comment on the record that as someone who works with the Ward 8 Arts and Culture Council for our children and families, for holistic programming as well as youth programming, I think it's most important that whatever actions are being promised are not facades. That there really is an interest and desire to see our children and families here in Ward 8, where this project is going to be, to see them actually prosper and be able to grow from this project, being involved in this project, that there are open doors and open arms for our children and families to participate. And that's what I think is most important, that it's not a facade, that this is an actual desire of Red Brick and whomever else is involved. Because our children and families need opportunities to be able to consistently improve upon what it is that they know now and what they're gonna know, not just for themselves, but for their children and their children's children and their children's children's children. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Charles Lindsay, Ward 8 resident, ANC 807. Been living here my entire life, aside of some military duty and all that. I'm very excited about this project. I remember growing up here, running through St. Elizabeth when it was a fully functional place, played football at number 11. To me, it's just real. The Wizards project is some real big bones. I think that the Red Brick developer team is great, and I'm excited. What I want us to do is think long term. This is a 20-year project. Red Brick is just I think the developer of the first phase. We got to think long term. You know, and when I say long term, everybody has all of these great ideas of how do you have Ward 8 businesses. That's awesome. How do you have Ward 8 residents working on a property tax cap? How do we get as much affordable housing, all that? But what we also need, I think, is an entity that can kind of control it. So I'm thinking outside the box a little bit, right? Because there are a lot of Ward 8 nonprofits that want a piece. But I think I would like to see maybe a foundation created of one entity that the developer funds and the deputy mayor funds, so that this entity can help control and manage all of the expectations. This entity is intricately involved with this community benefits agreement that Rosalind talked about and everybody else talked about. Because what I don't want is everybody going to the developer trying to get something, and we're divided. See, we can easily be divided because everybody has their own interests. Everybody wants this, 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 and this. But I think if we have one entity sort of created, that the developer helps, and then the developer is not going to be the chairman of this entity, right? The deputy mayor will not be, or the government, they have a seat at the table, obviously, because they're putting money into the entity. But they'll maybe have a board member. But let the chair or the board be controlled, maybe a third of the community. Have the deputy mayor and a few people on the board, as well as the developer. I mean, in my experience, you can't have everybody going to the developer trying to cut deals and get something. You have one entity that can control it. That entity can get the funds, or maybe a portion of the revenues or something from the project can be funneled back into, can be funneled back into the foundation and help disperse those funds to the community. I just don't want this project to divide us. And I hate everybody out here having all of these different agendas. And I'll be honest, a lot of them are agendas. When you say, hey, I want this, that's an agenda. Is your agenda for the community, or is your agenda about you and your family? And to me, your agenda has to be out about advancing Ward 8. We have been the last, the least, the lost, as my former boss, Mayor Barrett, always said. We've got to look at this long term. You see, this foundation, if you will, I'm not sure Red Brick will win the next phase, or who will win the next phase. So we need an entity that will continue to live through each phase. So the next phase 2, hey, that entity will still be in place to work with that developer, right? So that's just my 2 cents. I'm excited. I think that the team is great. I like the fact that they've come to Ward 8 and they're working with the folk. They're having these meetings. And when people say, I didn't hear about this, I don't know this, I'm not buying that. Because the deputy mayor team has done a fantastic job. Catherine has done an awesome job getting the word out, emailing. She makes personal phone calls. If you want to be involved with this project, come to the meetings. Come to the ANC meetings. Come to the Community Civic Association meetings. I mean, they've done a really good job, in my opinion, of reaching out. But we can't be divided. Don't let this project divide you and you say, this is my household. This is not about your household. This is about the larger Ward 8 community. So that's all I have to say. I'm excited. Can't wait to walk to a Mystics game. Can't wait to walk to St. Elizabeth. You know, I want to buy a suit on St. Elizabeth campus. I can't buy a suit in Ward 8. I can't buy a pair of dress shoes in Ward 8 top. And I don't wear tennis shoes like everybody else, although it's a, $3.4 billion industry. I don't wear that every day, right? And we have professionals here that would like to buy basic things in our name. Can you buy a set of dishes in your community? Right? Can you buy some, we really can't. So let's move this project forward, because the other thing is, it's going to move forward, people, with or without you. Let's make sure we put an entity together that can manage it and manage expectations. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
How you doing? I'm Daquan Taylor. I'm with Donnie with Ward 8 ACC. I'm with the shooters program. We basically you shoot people with cameras, not guns. But the fire space. Well, me first. I'm down the street, Berry Farms. I'm a videographer. I've been doing it for since I was 17. I'm about to turn 22 now, and I've been that's my business I run. I'm doing it by myself. And people I know there's a lot of people that want me help them, but I can't help. We need first of all space and a professional place to do it. You can't just walk up to them and help them, just tell them. But but far as it would be good because it'd be easy. More people would want to get involved with it if it was a better environment that seemed it's made for that instead of somebody just trying to help people. But they don't really have the things to do it. But if they have the things, it'll be better. People would want to get involved. It seems like a better chance that they could get help with it. So I think it'd be good for that. And that's it. What will make me want to come if it was a good foundation. If it looked like it really could help, and they know they had the proper tools and things that look like what you need. You don't want to just get help from somebody that don't look like they can really help you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Demetrius Brown. I'm also known as Entity. I have a production company called Entity Music. I'm a Ward 8 resident, born and raised, actually right down the street on Willow Road. I actually still stay in that area as well, too. One of the biggest things that we've always tried to push forward, I know you probably heard the term creative economy. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. What it means for us is just giving us an opportunity. The residents and people in Ward 8 that have been establishing themselves, doing work in the community, gathering young people, bringing them out of their homes, helping families. Oh, and I also forgot to mention I am a youth development specialist. I work directly with youth and families. And one of the things that we have always tried to do is unify and bring families together. And part of doing that is allowing us to have that creative economy, allowing us to do the things that we have been doing for years. I've been a musician for years. We have artists that have been doing this for years. And the problem is, a lot of times when we come to the table, we're not respected. We're not respected as young men because they're still looking at us because they might see the same way we dress. We don't have the suit and tie on every day. But at the end of the day, we are still professionals. We still go into these homes. We still help people. And we've been helping people for the last 6 years. I know directly, myself and Mr. Tendani have been helping people for the last 6 years directly. And we want to continue to do that, but we want to be at the table and actually be able to earn some funds, earn money, just like every other professional that's doing things in and out of the city every day. They come and take the money from the city, obviously, and then go back to their homes in VA and celebrate with their families, which is cool. But at the end of the day, we want to have the opportunities to be able to develop ourselves as artists, develop young people as artists, and have them have opportunities so they can now develop businesses. And it's all a trickle, it's a cycle. Okay, so if we continue to build them and continue to put that in, or instill that business mind frame in them, they pass it down to their children. And it's a process that we all have to go through, but we have to be respected first. We have to be respected, and you have all understand that we are all here to help our communities, or some of us are here to help the communities, because I ain't gonna say everybody in this room is, and let's keep it 100. But let's also understand that the people that are in here that's really doing what we have to do, just please respect us when we come to the table. That's all I ask. Thank
you. Good afternoon. My name is Jamal Alston, father, son, educator, student, entrepreneur, urban farmer. I can go on about myself, but it's not about me right now. This summer, I brought about 20 youth. I'm also part of the Ward 8 Arts Council. This summer, I brought about 20 youth to the Matthew Henson Center, and we developed a mural. Now, I don't know how many of y'all know how many gifted young black men that's out there. Let's not get emotional. Okay. All right, but the skills that they have skills. It's just the disconnect is between the perception of how they talk, how they dress, and the professionalism, the world of professionalism. There's a disconnect there. So what we do is we combine that connection. We don't care how they talk. We don't care how they dress. We care about the creative mind and their creative energy. We capture that for us. And if you understand what's going on with the universe, you understand the energy right now. So that's what we're capturing. So if you don't understand what's going on with the universe, you're not going to capture the wave that's going on. So if you don't capture the wave, that's okay too. So we went to the center. These guys, these 20 youth, put together a mural. I should have bought it today. As a matter of fact, it's in the car, I should bring it. But they put together a mural, and they showed how they can come together, they can develop an idea, they can share ideas, they can put ideas on paper. So they turn something from thought to reality, just like we're doing right here with this project. We're taking something from another universe or another dimension, and we're trying to turn it into something tangible. We have to include these youth. What I want to see is, I want to see self-sufficiency programs in wherever, in this circle, in the red circle, somewhere in there. And that's where the Ward 8 Council comes in. The Ward 8 Council has to be on the premises. We have to be here. We are here for the youth. Y'all can be here for everything else, but we'll be here for the youth. We're going to develop the youth in Ward 8, and we will show y'all what the youth can do. Y'all can do the other businesses and the clothes and the dishes and all that other stuff. But what's really needed here is self-sufficiency programs for the youth. We have to teach the youth how to farm. We have to teach them how to eat, to live. Using some of this land for urban farming would be ideal. We can teach them how to eat, how to live. We say that they're killing themselves out there, well then let's teach them how to live. If we care. If we care about the money, that'll show too, and it always shows. And that's in every ward. It's time to come and get this money. So it's okay, come get it. But while you come get it, include the youth. And by including the youth means bring Ward 8 Arts Council here on the premise so that we can develop the youth. And I'll let Tandani be the leader of how we'll be able to develop and create, because we're already using creative minds and creative energies. You all just have to come and see what we're doing. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, I wasn't
prepared to speak, but I never miss an opportunity if it presents itself. My name is Karen Gamble. I run a nonprofit organization for teenage girls here east of the river. I'm also helping out in this organization now that's just starting up called the Circle of Influence. Now, I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I do want to say this. I was born and raised here. As Charles just spoke, we went to Mildred Green together in the 6th grade. So just seeing him was like something special. But I wanted to say, born and raised here, I would love to see a part of our community stay in this community in something as fabulous as what's about to happen. I would love to see. I'm a part of the Ward 8's Arts and Culture too. I would just love to see a part of our community stay in our community. And I'm a fan of anything else coming. I'm glad to see people now see what we've been seeing for years. This is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. I never wanted to leave, always wanted to stay here. And my work is here now. This is what I do. I work with the youth here. And I would love to see some of this given back to the youth. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Carla House. I am a Ward 8 business owner, a Ward 8 resident. I'm also involved with the Ward 8 ACC. I'm here today to just put on the record that I could piggyback off of pretty much everything that so many people have said as far as being able to have an opportunity to have local businesses, have an opportunity to have a space where they can sell their products, where they can grow. And I think that this project is really, could be very effective, but I think there's so many obstacles that could come along the way that I think that with everyone in the room, it's basically just getting the word out there that we need to be involved in the planning and getting involved in these meetings. It's very important. I'm very, very blessed to have met Tindani and so many people here, and just being able to be in a room to voice my opinion and my concerns, it's really good. As a business owner, I am concerned with some of the retail space, and I'm located on MLK. I make jewelry. The name of my business is called Tailored Treasures. And so the type of jewelry that I make, it is one of a kind, never to be duplicated, and I want that to get out into the world. And it's very hard to do that in a community where you're not really, how can I explain this? Received, exactly. And when I start seeing these plans, I'm like, man, like someone said about being pushed out, it just gives you that feeling like, is this something that is going to be obsolete? Culture and art. And I think that Ward 8, we hold so much culture and art in this area, and that's something that needs to be preserved. So as you start doing your planning, as you start talking about all of the things that are going to be coming, I'm looking on this list and I'm like, so much of this pertains to me, like 250 new apartments. I live in an apartment, which is relatively expensive, where some people are paying $50 and I'm paying close to $2,000, and that's supposed to be that's supposed to be reasonable here, and it's not. I can barely afford it. And so I'm also looking at like community yard and courtyard. Is it going to be effective? Is it going to be something that our community, the residents, is it something that's going to be, what's the word? I can't even think right now. But basically what I'm trying to say is I can piggyback off of everything that a lot of you have said. And I think that the main thing is that we don't want our culture to get lost and all of the wonderful projects that you have here. I think that it's going to be a great idea, but we don't want our culture to get lost. And art is very important, and I think that if we start with that, and we start with the youth and start from the bottom, that is something that it can be beneficial. So, like I said, I just want to pretty much piggyback, and I wanted to get my information on record that I am a part of Ward 8. I do want to continue to grow here in Ward 8, and I hope that this development is something that is going to be beneficial to people living here now and people who plan to come. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Fatima Williams. I'm owner of Taste of Chad International Cuisine.
First of all, I'm very scared of public speaking. This is why I didn't want to come, but I felt like I had something to say. Outside of the developers, everybody that has $1, raise your hand. Just $1. If you put all those dollars together, that is how your voice gets to be heard, to be able to develop anything you want in this particular project. In Africa, almost everybody is, especially where I come from, everybody's an entrepreneur because that is just how we are. We don't just depend on a particular government because most of the governments are corrupt. We don't, look at who's coming to build because people always come to build and take advantage of. We survive by putting together what we have to help each other out. All these beautiful people that just came up here and spoke who have all these ideas, who want to educate, who want to continue to give back to the community. If we take our money, put it together, we can do this. We can build art centers and educational centers, write our own books, educate our own children, how to eat, how to live. This is how we continue to form as a community moving forward. You can't ask people who have their own agenda to help you. You have to help yourself, help yourself as a community. And basically, put your money in a pot and you'll see what you get. You'll get the progress, you'll get everything you want. And we have to do that. We basically all have the same ideas, have the same goals. Let's bring the community together, work together. If anything, let's create a sign-in sheet now where we can all trade information, everyone that's in this room, and then continue to communicate to see how we can help each other out, develop a dialogue and move forward. That's all.
Good morning. My name is Carl Jones. I'm a Ward 8 business owner. I own a concrete company here in Ward 8. I was very impressed with the lady that preceded me. She talked about being in Africa, being an independent contractor. I started out as an independent contractor in Alabama picking cotton. And I used to hold this discussion with Mary Berry about who could pick the most cotton. But we truly were independent contractors. So years later, I came to Howard University. I graduated as a civil engineer. I became a professional civil engineer. That is that I have the right to sign and stamp drawings that says that they're structurally safe. But anyway, I started in business. I lived in the Wingate house in 1968 after I got out of the service, and I married a girl at 1010 Mississippi Avenue, and we stayed in the district for about 7 years and moved out to Maryland. But I continued to own and operate businesses in the District of Columbia. One of my first was Jones and R.I.S.E, and we hired at our peak about 1,600 employees in several businesses. And for probably the last 25 or 30 years, I hauled the sludge out of Blue Plains. I bought an asphalt plant out in Maryland, and I sold it a few years ago after my wife got sick and I got sick. And she ultimately passed a few years ago. But I got bored, tired of being at home, and decided to open up a concrete plant here in Ward 8. I moved back into Ward 8 as a businessman. Now I live in Ward 7, and I just yesterday closed on a condo in Ward 3. So I'm officially a resident of Ward 7 and soon to be a resident of Ward 3. But anyway, what I wanted to say, I totally support this project. Right now we have hired about 23 truck drivers. 18 of them live in the district, and the average salary is $80,000 a year. So I'd like to expand the business. This project gives me an opportunity to do so. I spoke with some of the owners of the project, and they said they were committed to see that would do the concrete work on this project. And for that reason, I thought it was necessary for me to come up here and tell my story and let you express my support for this project. Thank you very kindly.
Well, thank you everybody for your comments, and we can just go through the last few slides. Thank you everybody. It is so important for you to come here to voice your opinions, your concerns, your thoughts, your hopes, your wishes, your desires. This is a very important first step, and it's very important that you came here today because we are at the beginning of this journey, and we will make sure that your comments, as best we can, are incorporated in our plans going forward. So with that being said, just to run through the next steps so that everybody is clear about how we plan to proceed. Our next meeting will focus on the disposition process and the disposition plan. So not only has Red Brick started to develop their own plans, I am sure that they will be taking back the comments that they've heard today, revising those plans, and we plan to come back out on September 28th for an evening meeting to reveal those disposition plans in greater detail, answer questions, talk about affordable housing, talk about home ownership opportunities, talk about retail opportunities, talk about creative economy and innovation uses. Really provide some more meat on the bones. We will also be developing a schedule to talk about the Events DC facility. I just want to emphasize that this Events DC facility really is bigger than basketball, and I know that that term has been thrown around a lot, but it is. The Events DC has been looking for a 5,000 seat arena for some time, and we lucked up and they took St. Elizabeth East seriously. 5,000 seat arenas are not plentiful in the District of Columbia. There are 3,700 seat arenas, there are 1,200 seat arenas, and so Events DC really does feel that this is a niche market. This is an opportunity for us to have a range of programs, ranging from family programs like Sesame Street to small concerts. This will be a real asset, and so Events DC, while they are new to Ward 8, they are dedicated to Ward 8. They have Ward 8 residents on their board who are already starting to ask some great questions. And so we will be rolling out with a outreach community update schedule, but also starting the conversations. For those who are not familiar with Events DC, they have been a phenomenal partner for us. They actually manage Broccoli City for us. Their staff is very professional. They know how to manage 7,000 people, get everybody in safely, have some fun, and get them home safely. So we are very excited that they are coming. The Wizards, for their training facility, and the Mystics will be an anchor tenant. So they will be paying rent, but also they have committed to investing $10 million back into the community. And so for us, this means that we will have a big partner both in the St. Elizabeth East redevelopment, but also the development of Ward 8 generally. And so not only being able to have the Wizards name and the Mystics name associated with our 5,000 seat arena, but also having the commitment to reinvest in the community is huge. Just to identify the location, the plan is similar to when you go to the baseball stadium and you come off the Metro and you see the baseball stadium. You'll come off the Congress Heights Metro and you will see our Events DC arena. We are planning to make sure that the site creates that sense of place. We have clearly, for our landscape architect who's in the room, this is a very early design. This is not what it will look like. But this gives a general idea of how far away from the Metro we plan for the Events DC facility to be. But also, as you can see, at the bottom right-hand corner, the first phase of development mixed use, that Red Brick is developing, this will allow us to leverage the retail that is there. And for retail to be successful, we have to have foot traffic. And so we anticipate that the Events DC arena will attract close to 350,000 people annually. And this will give us a real opportunity to make sure that that retail survives. To date, between Gateway DC and R.I.S.E, we've had 80,000 visitors. So we already know that there is a market in Washington, D.C. for venues like St. Elizabeth, Events DC, like Gateway DC and R.I.S E. Half the battle is just getting people here. So once they come here, they'll come back, they're committed. Once they get over whatever misnomer they have about Ward 8, we find that it is a very popular venue, and we anticipate the same amount of excitement around the Events DC venue. We do have handouts that talk about the deal terms for those who are interested and what the district's commitment is for the $23 million. The district is also committed to redeveloping the infrastructure. We have our partners with the Department of General Services here who will be building out our infrastructure. And then there are a number of commitments by Events DC who will oversee the construction of the facility. Just to talk briefly about the timeline, because that's always the question. We actually have folks who are showing up now ready to go into their facility. The facility will not break ground until next summer. That's when construction will begin, which means that in the spring we will be revealing designs for the facility. I am sure there will be lots of questions. We have already put in a plug for the arts and culture community. So your comments have been heard way before today, and we anticipate that we will continue to have a discussion about how we make sure that the Arts and Culture Committee really does make this a great place. And then we anticipate that the construction will be complete by fall of 2018, and we will all be there to enjoy great shows. I also just briefly want to touch on the pathway, and then have Lewis Hicks from the Humanities Council come up and talk about some exciting events that we have coming up. And I don't know if Rodney Bunt has already left. But as you can see, we have some construction going on. We are building a pathway for those who have been here at events in the evening. You know that it is dark and it is scary walking back to the metro. So we have lighting on the pathway, which is huge for us in the evening. So we have improved our lighting. Ralph Cunningham, actually his firm helped design it. It is a pleasant pathway. It will be well landscaped. And so we will be opening that pathway. Our team is working overtime to get it done for Art All Night and the Humanities Arts and Technology Festival. So Art All Night, if we go to the next slide, is scheduled for September 26th. It starts at 7 p.m. and it ends at 3 a.m. We hope to see everybody back because it is a great event. We hosted Art All Night last year. It was wildly successful. We were so impressed. We love having Art All Night here. And this year, we are also opening up R.I.S.E for our Humanities, Arts, and Technology Festival. So we will have Lewis Hicks give just some brief remarks about that festival.
Thank you, Catherine. I wanted everybody to make sure that you picked up a copy of our flyer, which will be here in this building. We will program this building to include a number of things. We'll open up with a presentation about humanities. Basically, we will have a think and drink where we have a humanitini, where philosophers will talk about issues confronting people today. We'll also have Muslims doing a poetry slam. Our theme for the event is listen to the city. So in a variety of ways, we'll have kids talking to people in South Africa. They travel there this summer. We have Global Kids down in the basement, which will be doing an evening, basically programming for kids. We'll have also Strayhorn Jazz doing a Strayhorn jazz discussion, demonstration, performance, as well as hand dancing. We'll also have Made in the DMV doing scratching as well as DJing. We'll also have a design showcase in the basement where we'll also have you, whether or not you have an efficiency or a mansion, talking about themes of how you use design techniques. We'll also use a variety of ways to program the space. We'll top it off in the late evening with the silent disco, where you'll get to dance with individual headphones and dance within the music, as well as programming the space where we'll have DJs programming this space at the end of the evening. But if you go to our website, wdchumanities.org, you'll be able to pull up a full schedule that starts at 7 o'clock and goes until 3 a.m. in the morning.
Thank you. I hope to see each and every person in this room at the Humanities Festival as well as Art All Night, because it really is a treat. And you can also see how people relate and enjoy this space. So just to wrap up our next community meeting, you will hear from Red Brad Cardona. They are not the silent type, so they will be here answering lots of questions and presenting their development plans. That is going to be on September 28th We also plan to attend every ANC meeting over the course of the next month to make sure that we are touching people. If you have any other requests for updates over the course of the next month or two, to start off the conversation to make sure as we're developing our redevelopment plans, your comments are heard. We urge you to please reach out to either the project team or our development partner and make sure that your comments are included and reflected. I will say, just as a closing note, we are very serious about including the community's plans. Even for R.I.S E, you will notice that the name of the building, Relate, Innovate, Stimulate, Elevate, was thought of by the community. The uses that we have here, the reflection area. So there are ways that we make sure that the community's input is reflected, and we anticipate as we grow and have bigger and better projects that the community will always be at the table. So we sincerely thank you for coming out today, and we look forward to seeing you at our follow-up meetings. Thank you. Thank you.